shoes to drop, drivers to get signed, contracts to come down the pipeline. And right now, not the biggest contract move because that's already happened. All right, the biggest contract move of this season and last season has already happened before the season started. And that big contract move was Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. So nothing is going to get bigger than that. The next thing that could get bigger than that is if we had a premature departure of Max Verstappen exiting Red Bull. That's the next biggest thing that could happen. All right. Is Max Verstappen leaving Red Bull for whatever reasons it may be, and however that may take place. We've already heard several times that Max has a clause in his contract that if Helmut Marko were to leave Red Bull, then he could pretty much break his contract and exit the team. So that right there showed us more alliance to Helmut than it was alliance to Christian Horner, which at this point in time, a lot of things have been happening with Christian. A lot of things have been handled, people would say, not appropriately. And a lot of talk has been made about Max Verstappen leaving Red Bull and being acquired by Toto at Mercedes because Toto right now is scorned. He's a scorned lover. Lewis is leaving, and for several good reasons, Lewis is leaving the team, okay? Here, I'm going to talk about real talk, looking at what I see, people's character, people's mannerisms, the actions that take place. A lot of other people want to try to stay close to the data and all this other shit to try to stay in a line with teams. Because let me just be honest, the way I talk and how I go about things doesn't mean I'm wrong, but it's not always palatable to those that don't want to hear or don't want to be called out. And it may be if things were more that way, it'd be better, but it's not. So I'm just going to tell you how I see it and what I think is going to take place. And I'm going to keep it real with what I'm saying. Max Verstappen leaving Red Bull at this point in time would be the next biggest move outside of Lewis. Other than that, right now, you can count out Lando leaving, Oscar leaving. You can count out Charles leaving. We already know Carlos is leaving. Perez likely retained. I don't think they let Perez go anywhere right now. If they do, what other driver are they looking at? Because we've already talked about this. Red Bull is not a team for two alpha drivers, okay? They have one in Max Verstappen, and they don't want to bring in another driver that would challenge him and or beat him because I think there are some more narratives on the backside of that. And here are a couple of them. One is they already have an agenda. And yeah, I said an agenda. They already have an agenda. Not only do I think Red Bull has an agenda, but I think the sport of Formula One has some investment in Max Verstappen either coming close or exceeding 7 world championships. Okay, so coming close, meeting, or exceeding. All right. So they're not going to bring in another driver that would take points off Max pretty consistently. Okay. And those drivers could be Lewis Hamilton. It could be Alonso. Maybe even Charles, maybe in the right circumstances, maybe. We're not even bringing in the whole dynamic of the car and the setup, all of that. We're just talking about talent, performance, and ability. I don't think Lando would. I think Lando plays second fiddle. I'm not too sure about. I mean, they had matching necklaces. Okay. I mean, if you out here and you got matching necklaces with somebody, I'm not really going to believe you're going to get crazy with this person. I'm not going to believe you're going to really pull up. So Lando's out of there. So the next biggest move is this one, Alonso. Alonso has now locked in a multi-year deal with Aston Martin. This is important because what's up, 083? Gifted definition of essence. You just got gifted by 083. Big shout out, fam. Thanks for pulling up this afternoon. So why do I find this a very highlighted moment? Well, because we already know Alonso was keeping his options open. 2, I think Alonso made the best decision for himself. I'll talk about Max in a second, but I think Alonso made the best decision for himself. Because what other team is he going to go to where he's not going to be too far behind the Red Bull and the Ferrari? Because those are the two fastest consistent teams right now on the grid. Red Bull being number 1, Ferrari being, to me, a clear-cut number 2. And then McLaren coming in to be a developed number 3, Aston Martin and Mercedes, somewhere in there, the dust will settle and we'll see which one of those Mercedes teams, one being a customer, one being a works team, will come out on top. But Paul says, what's up, man? What's up, Paul, bro? I was thinking about you today. I was going to hit you up on God when I got off this live to check in on you and the missus. Just checking in quick at work. Hope everyone is having a great day, week. Peace and love. Surprise Alonso doesn't quit. Hey, man, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I think he made the best decision for himself because if he leaves Aston Martin, he's not going anywhere that's not going to put him further away from the front. Right now, at the time period of where Alonso is in his career, he should appreciate Aston Martin and what he's able to do in that car. Because he had been remember, Alonso almost went damn near 2 decades without, 17? It was a lot of seasons of no podiums. Like, bro was absent forever. Not forever, because he still would be, but for a long time. So being with Aston Martin, Alonso's been able to enjoy and get into being a podium celebrator. If he leaves Aston Martin, where's he going that's going to give him that opportunity? It's not Ferrari. They got their future in Charles, and they got their stud in Lewis Hamilton, who's coming in the GOAT. He's not going to make the team worse. Let's just be real about that. Although, credit to Carlos, doing a phenomenal job right now on his way out. Red Bull's not going to take him because he's too strong of a personality. He's too good of a driver. And Alonso's not the type of dude that's going to take orders to make him sit back. We saw it with Lewis Hamilton. As dirty as that got, and I got to speak to the character of Alonso, not that I like it, but we saw what he was willing to do to diminish and demolish Lewis Hamilton as a rookie who was challenging him legit. He was willing to pay mechanics to sabotage Lewis's car. He was willing to stay in the pits to sabotage Lewis's qualifying round. He was willing to play psychological and mind games in front of the public and the reporters to do all of that. Alonso's not going to take that Red Bull, I'm the number 2, yes man bullshit. He's just not going to do it. So him signing a multi-year deal with Aston Martin was the best idea. And it was a good idea. The Aston wanted him. And with this happening, I think Max is off the table to at least Aston Martin, because I will say this. I think if Aston were able to sign Max Verstappen, they would have. They would have. I don't believe for a second that Aston Martin truly believes Lance Stroll is their future. I just don't. I don't buy it. I think behind closed doors, people that are really about money and bottom lines have to have real conversations and say, hey, it's cool. You got him. He's in there. You're bringing money. He could drive. But he's not taking us anywhere into the future. He's just along for the ride. And right now, it's sad to say he's along for the ride with somebody as Alonso, which phenomenal driver. I enjoy watching Alonso's race craft. I'm totally separating Alonso as a person and looking at what Alonso is capable of doing on track. I enjoy watching Alonso drive, especially when he gets into battles, because the brother he plays chess, not checkers. I'm just going to say that. Alonso can drive, okay? But if Aston could have got Max, then they would have. So evidently, Max was off the table. But I'm going to say this. If Max wants any opportunity to even sniff 7 world championships, his best opportunity and his best chance is to stay with Red Bull until 2026. Now, remember, I told you all this about a year or so ago. I said 2025, 2026, Red Bull is going to stumble. They're going to have a dip. They're going to go into a slump. I said this, okay? And mark my words, and I'm serious about it. I still believe in 2025, 2026, Red Bull is going to stumble, okay? So let's just talk about some things that come with Aston Martin had Max went to Aston. And I mean Well, Aston Martin I'll talk. Let's talk about Red Bull first. All right, let's talk about Red Bull first. Let's go into them first. So I do believe Max Verstappen with Red Bull. The pros are one, they're on a hot roll. They by far have their car development nailed than anybody else on the grid. Okay, than anybody else on the grid. Red Bull also give Max the best opportunity for his championship. He's got 3 right now. Red Bull ceiling with any driver, not any driver. Let's put respect on Seb's name. Sebastian Vettel. 4 championships. That's their ceiling. So, one, can Red Bull as an organization string together a line of championships, which I'm going to say it because it got to be said, 2021 does not count, although statistically it's on the books. That was bullshit. But statistically, Max has 3 chips. This one right here will make 4, which I'm kind of confident may indeed happen this season. Ferrari's the only team that might be able to change that. And that's by way of Carlos and Charles finding a way to take points off of Max. Carlos likely finishing ahead of Charles because that's what we've seen. Galactus fam, you all the car picks. I posted Red Bull car in Ohio. Oh shit, no, I didn't see it, bro. All right, I got. Hey, send them to me and I'll post them on the YouTube for sure. Galactus, get with me on that, brother. So, the 2024, 2025, and 2026. That's going to be 3 more championships. Okay, that's going to put him at 6. All right, he gets one this season. He gets one in 2025. And if he can manage to get one in 2026, which is going to be the challenge, the most challenging. Now, remember, I said 2025 is going to be, I think 2025 is where Red Bull's going to stumble. 2026, I think it's over. So I'm looking at possibly 6 championships for Max total. I don't think he gets beyond 7. Too many things are happening, okay? You got Red Bull's going to lose Honda. They're going to have Ford power units incoming. And I don't care what you say. We all know in America, Ford stands for a couple of things. And none of them are really that great. Found on road dead, which I passed at least 2 Fords today on the highway. Fix or repair daily, which I constantly see a Ford in some mechanic's driveway, some damn mechanic spot, parking spot, and or I've dealt with several people having to take cars back to Ford for faulty engines that they already know are no good, and having to pay a total bill of a replacement for an engine that they know they made the fix in. It's crazy. Ford is not the company that I am going to trust is going to come into Formula One with Red Bull, and it's going to be even a slight overlap. I think it's going to be a fucking debacle. I think it's going to be a debacle. So Red Bull stumble in 2025 and they lose their grip in 2026, but that still puts them above the 4 ceiling from Seb being the most elite driver who has been awarded the most driving championships in back-to-back seasons. Okay, I do think Max has a very good opportunity and a very good situation with Red Bull to do that. But Red Bull is going to go into a slump. They're going to have Ford incoming. Another thing is they already got Ferrari in their sight. Ferrari already has Red Bull in their sights. Ferrari has made a very notable progress since last season to this season. They are the clear-cut number 2. Okay? And Carlos is driving phenomenal. He's driving awesome for them. Charles is still coming along the way. He's got to put together a better drives week in, week out. He's got to do that. Okay, that's what's got to happen for him to become that guy, especially when Lewis Hamilton walks out. I think they pretty much have another selection, a processor when that happens. But right now we're talking about this. Another thing is regs change. So everybody's going to have their own set of challenges, including Red Bull. So regs are going to change. Red Bull's going to get a Ford power unit. Max Verstappen's contract technically will be 2 seasons out for be expiring then. We don't know where Helmut Marko is going to go. And another thing is we don't know if Adrian Newey even stays with the team. And I do think if Adrian Newey leaves Red Bull, Aston Martin is a very nice looking destination. Why do I say this? I'll get to that. So the next thing we're going to go into is the next team that could possibly be a landing spot for Max Verstappen. And that team is going to be Mercedes. Cornbread, what's up, Brody? Cornbread says, I'm on the Raw Wolf Pack fam, but wanted to shoot a quick hey, y'all. Hey, bro, what's going on, man? Hey, bro, be careful on that road. Be careful driving. Make sure you make it safe. By the way, we do have a grudge race this weekend. If any of you want to race, the link is already up. I will be sending out posts. Go ahead and send me an invite on EA's platform, the Wolfpack F1. So let's get to Mercedes. Max going to Mercedes is not going to do him any good. Max going to any other team right now will not really do him any good. Max is not, and this is what I want to say about the Red Bull situation. Max is not, I do not think Max is going to stay at Red Bull from 2026 to 2027, 2028. I don't think he stays there to 2028. Why? Because Max is not the guy that's going to go with you through a slump and help you recreate and rebuild. Max has said several times, he's not going to be here. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here. I don't plan on being here. I want to do other things. I want to try other things. Max is not going to sit here, nor does he have the mentality. He doesn't have the coolness. He doesn't have the patience. He doesn't have a lot of things that will allow me to believe that Max is going to sit through what Lewis Hamilton has sat through with Mercedes. I don't think Max can do it, and I don't think he will do it. So 2026, when Red Bull hit that proverbial wall, Max Verstappen is going to become a Top Gun pilot and pull the damn handles and eject. Now, where would he go? I don't know. But if we talked about Mercedes, let's talk about Mercedes. Mercedes has proven for 3 seasons back-to-back that they cannot get a car built that can perform at 1 or 2 pace in this new era, in the ground effects era. They have been absolutely horrible. Jefferson says the Honda engine going to AMR, Red Bull will stumble. That's what I'm saying, brother. Honda is going to Aston Martin. Ford is incoming to Red Bull. They're going to stumble. Ford is not coming in here with oh, yeah, we're just going to take the baton and turn it up like Richardson. They're not doing that. It's not going to happen. But Mercedes is the worst landing strip for Max Verstappen as far as championships and possibilities. But at the same time I say that, Mercedes right now is officially in their slump. Ferrari has been in a slump for probably 17 seasons, 16, damn near 2 decades. Ferrari's been in a slump for damn near 2 decades. Okay? At some point, think about that. Think about that. Ferrari has been in a slump for 2 decades, damn near. Mercedes is just now getting into knowing that we're in a for real slump. We are for real in a slump. I don't think Mercedes turned this boat around. And as much as we've seen boat accidents as of late, I don't think Mercedes turned this boat around and all of a sudden become competitive by 2025. I don't think so. I almost want to say they've gotten slightly worse this season already. I do. I don't know what we're going to see in China. I don't know what we'll see there. I'm open to interpretation and I'm open to be corrected on certain things, given Mercedes can do that. But Max going to Mercedes won't do anything but make Toto Wolff happy, frustrate Max, kill team morale. And I also want to say that I heard, I don't know if it's true, I also read, don't know how accurate they are, that there was a package offered to Max to come to Mercedes that was so grand, he'd be ridiculously crazy to deny it. And I am going to say, I think that's wrong. I don't think Max has to be ridiculously crazy to deny that. Because let me tell you something that you can't often buy, okay? You can't often buy championships, although Red Bull got one gifted to him. Although Renault pulled off the crash gate and managed to siphon something. You can't buy on average championship after championship. Maybe you can, and we just don't know about it. Jefferson, by the way, I've secured my Qatar GP tickets. That's what I'm saying, bro. Get it in. Get it in. So even with this big contract, which I'm going to go into one area of that contract that I found ultimately disrespectful for Lewis Hamilton to even, for this to be a rumor. And I think right now with so many things that we've already seen or heard that we thought were rumors came to fruition and were actually true, I'm going to say that it might be some truth to it. And Max Verstappen wouldn't be crazy to deny this contract from Mercedes, because right now, if he sits in a Mercedes, you see McLaren's 3, Mercedes far away from Red Bull. That means Max Verstappen would have to say to himself that I'm okay being a 4-time champion. I'm cool with being 4-time champion. I'm cool with equaling Seb at Red Bull, and I can walk away and be all right. And I want to go and build with Mercedes. And I want to do what Lewis Hamilton did, bring them into another championship era, which Lewis Hamilton brought them into the championship era, but he going to go there. And he want to do that. No, Max not that dude. Max not that dude, and I'm going to say this. Max, you'd be a fool if you did that. You'd be a fool right now to sit in Red Bull knowing that you likely have the best opportunity to get 3 more championships, 2 more outside of this season, because I told you it's over by 2026, I think. 2026 at max will be your last championship. 2027 is not happening for Max at Red Bull. Not with the arrangements, not with the changes that are coming down. I don't think it's happening. If it does happen, listen, if it happens, it happens, and I just got to call it like it is. Bro, great. He great. That's what I just got to call it like it is if that happens. But I don't think it happens. And Mercedes definitely isn't somewhere you want to be. And I will say this, Toto Wolff, I heard that you set up here Lewis Hamilton, portion of the ask for Lewis Hamilton's contract was a legacy type deal, an ambassador type deal. If Lewis Hamilton can't get that, why in the hell would you think it would be okay to offer that? That tells you how desperate Toto Wolff is. He offered Max an ambassador legacy type stipulation in the contract. That's wildly disrespectful. Wildly disrespectful. But even that, to me, is not enough for Max to say, yeah, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go do that. No, it's not. 083 Mercedes is lost in the forest. Talking about, can someone please help us get back to the front of the grid? We don't like it back here. Right. Yeah, they lost, bro. So that's not it. The best opportunity that I thought was good for Max, and I'm talking about, I think Max stay at Red Bull till 2026. Go ahead and announce you leaving at 2027 if, and I do mean if, this team is starting to make progress. Alonso's contract with Aston Martin goes to 2026, taking them into the new regulations. What does that mean? By the way, congratulations, Alonso, securing a bag. What does that mean? That means that year, leading up to that year, Aston Martin's going to be able to have the new facilities help, have your new course of direction and your performance consistently increased. Now that you're going to get the Honda power unit, because Max now would be following the Honda. If he goes to Aston Martin, he's following the Honda. Now that you're going to get the Honda power unit, can we have the same amount of power with car development? And Adrian Newey, is that a possibility? He's already been involved in several projects with Aston Martin. Max has also been a driver of the Valkyrie. There's a relationship there, if not a personal relationship, a technical and mechanical performance relationship, a designing engineering relationship with Newey. So now you're following the ball. Max Verstappen, follow the ball. When Honda leaves Aston Martin, you should go to Aston Martin the following season. Honda will be there. There ain't nothing going to change about Honda. Honda's just going to get better. Honda's just going to get better. They're not leaving the game. They're just changing teams. They're not like Ford just coming back in. Honda came in pretty nice. I mean, they had their issues when they first came in, but when they came in Red Bull, we noticed a tremendous difference. Adrian Newey, possible to go to Aston Martin. So now you got a trifecta. You got Adrian Newey, you got the power unit, you got the driver. Alonso, if Max is wanting that seat, you're out of there. You're out of there. Lance Stroll's definitely going to be able to fuck the team over. That's just his job. That's what he's getting an allowance to do. But if Max goes to Aston Martin, so this is where I say, if he wants to clear 7 before he leaves the sport, he's going to ride Red Bull until 2026, hop to Aston Martin in 2027, and win 2 more chips to clip 8. That's the path to 8 if Max is going to be great. I mean, he'll be great before that. I'll acknowledge him as great depending on what happens for the rest of the seasons if he does it. He's going to have to get past Sebastian Vettel. He's got to get 5 for me to, say something about great. Galactus says, Mercedes playing Marco Polo, no one in the pool. Right, Marco. Where the fuck y'all went? I'm telling you, that's exactly what he doing. There ain't nobody there. Mercedes. So, Toto is just desperate. And I do believe that Aston Martin is a solid choice in 2027. That'll give them that first season in 2026 with the new regulations, the new era regulations with the MGUH getting up out of there. Get to see what kind of bugs they're going to have, how they work through them, if they can manage by the end of 2026, midway through the season, have they bounced back and shown that, we're getting a handle on this. 2027, we're going to be charging. All right, we're going to be moving up. So, Max, what you want to do? Because Red Bull ain't going to be that for you no more. They going to be done. They might be able to get you to 6, Brody, but they're not going to get you to 7. They're not going to get you to 8. They just not. It's going to be way too many in the mix by then. Ferrari's already in the hunt. Ferrari might very well be in the mix next season. We might see a reemergence of a 2021 S season without the scandal shit, hopefully, in 2025. 2025 might be a mirror match of 2021. Lewis Hamilton's going to be in a Ferrari. Clear cut number 2. Right now, clear cut number 2. Now, remember, I know Red Bull has changed some things, and they've still been on pace, but shit's still looking like things might be kind of slowing down on that rise. Ferrari's coming up, and if they keep making progress, they're going to be there. And now you're talking about adding Lewis Hamilton in a car that is capable of right now getting race wins in certain situations. I'll say that. I'll keep it a buck. In certain situations, if the Red Bull is running seamless and no failures, no DQs, no heavy driver errors, and the Ferrari is, Red Bull might take it. But I think we saw some pace there with Carlos that was looking mighty strong for that Ferrari. So you talk about Lewis Hamilton in that Ferrari. It's possible 2025 is where we start seeing a shift for Ferrari and Red Bull and Lewis Hamilton in that car. So Max is going, it's going to start it should start getting challenging. If it doesn't get challenging and this just goes on, then all things do happen in sport, and sometimes we don't like them. Sometimes we don't like what necessarily might occur in a sport, but it is what it is. And at the end of our time of watching these sports, at some capacity, everything will have a certain appreciation value, except for what happened in 2021. I ain't never going to appreciate that shit. It's going to be horrible. Only thing that makes 2021 better is if Lewis Hamilton comes back next season with Ferrari and wins a championship. Because then it's like, fuck you, Mercedes, you didn't do shit for me. Fuck you, Massey, you, FOM, everybody that knew I got shitted on, knew y'all cheated me, y'all didn't do nothing to make it right. I'm back, Ferrari. I done brought y'all back to a championship status. I'm in the Scarlet Red. Mercedes, what's up? I seen you in the rear view. Max, I beat your ass too. That's the only thing that makes it part of the story. It never makes it better. It never makes it better. It just makes it part of the story that says, you know what? Started from the bottom, now we're here. I was down, I was out, but now I'm up and I'm in. That's the only thing it does. It never has an appreciation value. It just has a point of origin that we can look back on and say, damn, that was some tough times, but we here now. That's it. 2021 is never going to be looked at as good. But Max is going to have a lot on his hands. He's going to have a lot on his hands. Alonso's no slouch. We've seen that. Now, I don't know what happens in 2 or 3 more seasons with Alonso. Although he talking all this, I would like for me and Lewis to finish our careers out. Alonso, to me, right now is starting to transition where Seb was. Alonso's talking about doing things that are bucket list type things. Can me and Lewis be on the same team before I leave to just maybe polish or add some goodness to the story that is so horrible and reflects on me in a negative way? You know, I'm going to stay at Aston Martin and do the best I can do here because there's not another team on the grid. Max is going to be in a situation where you got this guy trying to be the best he could be before he goes out. You got another guy that's going to be with a competitive team that knows you were part of a whole debacle that screwed him. And you got a team that's going to be accepting a power unit that's going to be shit to me the first season. And it's going to get there. Remember what I told you, dynasties don't last forever. Red Bull have only gotten a 4. Can they get past that? I don't know, but it ain't going to go too much longer than that. So we will see what happens. We'll see where he ends up going. But I do think that Aston Martin is the best opportunity for Max, given the things that we know right now with the Honda power unit, with the possibility of Adrian Newey joining Aston Martin because of their relationship, and if he chooses to leave Red Bull, and the car development and them changing, they're converting into a works team. So I think Aston Martin would be a nice destination for Max if he wants to carry out after getting that 6 and try to go ahead and clip 7 and 8. That's where he's going to have to go because Red Bull's not going to be that team. They're not going to help you, Brody. That ain't going to be the bit. That math ain't going to math. Not in my opinion. If it does, I've been wrong before. Everybody been wrong. Although people like to heavily criticize me for being wrong, which ain't a lot, but everybody gets, got to change. You got to change your perspective when the variables change. I don't mind doing that if that's the case. So we'll see what happens. By the way, big shout out to everybody who pulled up in the super chat. The link for the race this Sunday starting at 11. So you need to be actively in this live chat. If you're not in our Discord, you need to be in this live chat 30 minutes prior to message and start messaging me to let me know, hey, I'm trying to get in. I sent you a friend request. Can you check it? Because once I get into qualifying, I'm not liking to check friend requests and messages and bring you in. I'm not really up to doing all that shit. It just ruins the live, ruins my stream, ruins my mojo. I'm just going to keep going, be early, be on time. Be on time, your ass might be late. So other than that, we'll see what happens with Max, but he's going to have to play the money ball. He's going to have to follow the ball, the Honda ball, the Newey ball, the works team ball, all of that, because Red Bull will not get him to 8. They're not going to get him to 7. At best, they're going to get him to 6, and 6 is going to be a rough one in my opinion, and 2025 could be challenging. So we will see what happens. I will see y'all this weekend. We'll pack out. Peace.